This is Gemara Menachos, Daf Yud Beis, and we're holding on Yud Aleph of Beis. We're at the Mishnah on the bottom of the Amid. As we continue discussing different aspects of the Karban Mincha, says the Mishnah, HaKoimet es HaMincha. Someone performs the Kemitza Lechol Shiareho Bachutz. However, there's a problem. He doesn't just perform the Kemitza. He does it. I lost my highlighter. There we go. Lechol shiareho bachutz. He does it with a kavana to eat the remnants bachutz outside of the azara, or oikizayis mishareh bachutz. He does it with the kavana to eat kizayis outside, or lahakter kaimsa bachutz, or kizayis kaimsa bachutz, or lahakter levaynasa bachutz. In any of these cases in which the problem is his kavana, that he's having a kavana to do the avodah in either the wrong all of these are in the wrong location. What's the halacha? Pasal, but ve'ein bai kares, there's no kares. Continues the Mishnah, but what if it's not in the wrong location, but rather it's in the wrong zman? Lechol shirah lemachar, if he has intentions, he thinks he's going to eat the shirayim, the remnants, tomorrow. Ogzayis mishareh lemachar, or lahakter kaimsa lemachar, to burn the kemitza. Or ogzayis becomes lemachar, or lahakter levayna lemachar. In all of these cases, again, the difference part B cases is that his kavana is to eat it in the wrong zman, not in the wrong location, but in the wrong zman. He has intention to eat it lemachar. Then says the Mishnah, pigol and v'chayavin Allah of kares. There is kares in this case. Zaklal. This is the klal, and as you see the little aleph and to the side, Gemara and Zvachim Gimel base of the same klal. This is really paralleling the Gemaras over there. That in these two different cases of pigol, cases of machshavos zarais, incorrect intentions, the rule is anyone who does kemitza, or he places the kemitza into klisharis, or hamoilech, he brings it hamaktir, he burns it on the mizbeach lechol davar shedarka lechol, to eat something which generally is eaten, or lahaktir davar, to burn something shedarka lehaktir, which is generally burnt. And here are the two rules. If his intention is chutz lemekaimai, pasal vein by kares. Whereas if it's chutz lezmanoi, pigol v'chayavin olav kares, and that is really the rule of the first two cases in the Mishnah. The difference being what his kavana was, chutz lemekaimai, pasal vein by kares, chutz lezmanoi, pigol v'chayavin olav kares. Ubelvad, but it continues the Mishnah with one caveat. Ubelvad sheyakriv hamatir kimitzvasai, that the matir is brought kimitzvasai, like the way it's supposed to be brought. That means what? Meaning that the din of pigel is only when the kemitza is brought on the mizbeach as he is supposed to. So, which again, let's just be clear. I mean, the Gemara really is going to get involved in this. Let's read Rashi. Let's allow the Heilige Rebbe of Klal Yisrael to teach us. Says Rashi. Rashi is about 20 lines into narrow lines. V'achayei karav amatir kimitzvasi ki'ilu ayakasher. That the rest of the avodah, everything else has to be done ki'ilu it was kosher. Shelo yehei shum psol. There should not be any psol ella hapigel. The only issue in the whole story was this machshava, the machshava lechol chutz zmanoi, or the machshava lechol chutz lemekaimai. Aval, however, im yesham psol acher, there's a different psol, su loy pagel. It's not called pigel vein by kares. As we'll get to, Kedamar Barak Beis, Yiratzek Sev Pigol, Sev Kasher, Yiratzek Hartzas Kasher, Kachatzas Pigol, Shaibe Shum Salacher. So the Mishnah is teaching us that these halachas of pigol are when the pigol is the problem, and nothing else. Continues the Mishnah. What do these words mean? As follows. You did the kmitza silently, meaning when you did the kmitza, you know machshava zarais. Nasan bekli, you put in the kli sharis chutz lizmanai, and then you went and you burnt it with the kavana of chutz lizmanai. Or she comes chutz lizmanai v'nasan bekli v'hilech veikter b'shtika. Or she comes and nasan bekli. Or you did the kmitza and you paste it in the kli v'hilech veikter chutz lizmanai. Meaning everything else was done correctly, aside from this one incorrect machshava. Now, the Mishnah articulates the flip side. If at the shas of the kimitza already, you did the kemitza with one machshava to bring chutz l'mekaymai, and then you did another avodah of the haktara with a machshava to eat a chutz l'zmanai. Or shechar kamatz chutz l'zmanai, and nasan bekli vaylich veiktir chutz l'mekaymai. Or shekamatz nasan bekli vaylich veiktir chutz l'mekaymai. So now we have that both parts of the avodah, the kemitza and the haktara, both of them are done with machshava zarais. Then zehu shaloikar v'amatir kimitzvasai, and as Rashi taught us, then there would be no pigol and no karis. Continues the Mishnah, minchas chayteu minchas kena'ois. A new case. If I have the carbon mincha, someone who doesn't have Eira, carbon mincha, someone who has minchas kenais by a saita, she comes in shalishman asivki valich veikter chutzes manai, and again a double machshava psula that what he did the kimitza with one kavana, he did aktar with another kavana, or fakir to she comes chutzes man asivki valich veikter shalishman. Or she comes us in the kliv veiktir shalishman. They're all shalishman. Zehu shaloi cover matir kemitzvasi. However, zehu shaloi cover matir kemitzvasi, like we just said before, and there's no pigol in this case. Next case in the Mishnah. Lechol kizayis b'achotz lemachar. Now, what happens if when he's doing the avodah, he has a kavana to eat a kizayis b'achotz, and kizayis l'machar, kizayis b'achotz. Excuse me. Lach kizayis b'achotz, kizayis l'machar. He had a kavana to eat a kizayis in the wrong place and a kizayis the next day. So as you're hearing, he's taking two machshavais zarais and he's having both of them. Or kizayis l'machar, kizayis b'achotz. Or kichatzi zayis v'achotz, kichatzi zayis l'machar, or kichatzi zayis l'machar, kichatzi zayis v'achotz. And so in these cases, what's the din? Says the Mishnah, pasol ve'ein boi kares. A double kavana, even during the same avodah, does not give off kares. Omer Rav Yehuda, ze haklal, machshavas hazman, kod machshavas hamakom. So Rav Yehuda is going to argue on this last thing that we just said. Says Rav Yehuda, if the machshava psula of doing the avodah chutz l'zman comes prior to the machshava psula of chutz l'mekaymai, then it says Rav Yehuda, there is indeed pegov chavel avkares, as we'll see, because once you did the machshava of chutz l'zman, you create a pickle right then. But in machshavas ha'amakom, because machshavas hazman, then there's no pickle, but it's rather just possible ve'in by kares. Chachamim Maimrim, they argue in both cases. They say zev is apostle ve'in by kares. Both of these cases are not full-fledged pickle. So says the Gemara, let's ask a shaila. Ledivrei ha'omer shi'arayim she'achasru ben kamitza l'aktar. According to the opinion that says, if you have a garba mincha, and between the kemitza and between the haktara, the shirayim are chasar. They're not complete. What's the halacha? According to the opinion that says, you're still allowed to burn the kemitza. So machlekes of Yechon Reish Lakish that we had back in Daf Tes, And Rav Yochanan said, yes, you still burn the kemitza even though right now it's lacking. V'kaim alana, we established those shirayim asurim ba'achila. You can't eat those shirayim. So says the Gemara, Ma'u tetihani lahu haktara. What is the halacha? Whether the haktara will work for what? Lemikba'enu bepigol, to create a matzav of pigol, lefkenu midei mi'ila, and to remove from mi'ila. So says the Gemara, according to Rav Yochanan, that what? The shirayim are aser ba'achila. So now the question is, what is going to be the status of the haktara of that kamitza? Will it create a matziv of pigol if he has a machshava that creates pigol? Number one. Number two, it will not have me'ilah. Amar Rav Huna afilu Rav Akiva damar zrika mayeles. Says Rav Huna, even according to Rav Akiva, that says the zrika helps, zrika mayeles, liyaitze, that there'll be no me'ilah for someone who brings the carbon out, liyaitze, excuse me, I skipped. Honey, mili yaitse. That's only if he brings it outside. Why? Because the carbon is still there. Nifsol. Excuse me. Upasal. I keep reading the words wrong. I apologize. Upasal machmas davar acharu. But it's possible because of the fact that it's in the wrong location. But that's according to Rabbi Akiva, that it was brought lachotz. Avol chisaroin. In our case, the kemitza, the mincha is lacking. You're missing a little bit of the kemitza. Tipsula de gufo. It's not just the apostles that you're in the wrong location. It's inherently itself is basal. So says the Gemara, Loi mahani lehaktara, the subsequent burning it will not help. Lamaisa is lacking, it's apostles ba'etzem, and therefore it will not remove, and there still will be mi'ila. That is Rav Huna's teretz. Amar le Rava. Rava responds, no, Adarabba. Afilu that you're saying, you're answering, you Rav Huna are answering. Afilu Rabbi Kiva. No. Says Rava Nate. Adarabba. Afilu Rabbi Kiva. Damar ein zrika mayeles. Liyaitse. Hanimi liyaitse. This is when something is brought outside. Why? Delese bipinim. It's no longer in the right place, and for the zrika can't work. Avol chisaron disa bifnim. So says Rava back, what do you mean? You're telling me the fact that it's lacking creates a paslos in the etzem, in the gufa carbon. But says Rava, but wait, there's a different nekuda. If you're in the right place, you could continue the avodah. If you brought it outside, there's nothing you could do right now. But says Rava, chesaron, but the isa bifnim lamaisa, you're in the right location. On the first white line, mahan yale haktara. The haktara should help to say that there's no longer mi'ilah. Amar Rava, says Rava, it might sound like I'm saying a chiddush. Let me support it. No, I mean Allah. Where I know this, it's Tanan. I came in mincha. Lachos shirei b'achos. Like says Mishra b'achos. Ve'tani Rav Chia. I came in mincha v'loy tani oik zayis. Rav Chia came along and he says, you do the kemitza, and it's possible. V'loy tani oik zayis, and he did not say or a kizayis of it. So why not? My table v'loy tani oik zayis says Rav. I'll tell you why. Lav ki goin shechosru she'arayim, says Rav. It's a gavaldik arayim. That's what we're talking about. No, it doesn't say kizayis because it's talking about it's lacking. It's chasar. V'kamalu kizayis. But v'kivan d'mimata and kli behiluch b'aktara. But since lamaisa, he did not want. Given d'mimata and kli behiluch b'aktara lomasni lei. We did not want to learn the next part of the Mishnah talking about that you take it in the Kli and you do the Kiluch and the Haktara. Oikzayis Ashirayim, as we turn over to the Beis, Amid Beis, or Kazayis of the Shirayim. Therefore, because we don't want to say that, therefore, B'kimitza Nami, Lachol shirayim loitani. Therefore, we also did not learn by the kibitza oy kizayis. So therefore, what? Rava. So what does this come to teach us? Because now it concludes Rava. But vikatani seifa, let's not forget. What does the seifa say? Pigol v'chayov in olav kares. If there's pigol and kares, Alma, what do we see? Mahani alu aktara. We see lamaisa aktara is going to help to create pigol, even though lamaisa it's chasar. So that's Rava's raya, that even though the kemitza is chasar, between the kemitza and the aktara, still lamaisa, the haktara is going to help. Because it's different than bringing a bachot, because bachot is nothing you could do right now. You're outside the base of Mikdash, there's no zrika that could be done. But over here, in as much as you're right, it's chasar. But because you're still inside, there's avodah that you could do. Says Abaye Nein. Amrle Abaye Bezim Bez. The fourth line says Abaye Loi. No. Hamani, this is Rabbi Eliezer the Tanan. HaKoyz Alvan Maktaris Minchos HaKoyanim. O Minchas Kayim Mashiach, O Minchas Zachim. All the different types of carbon Mincha. Sheikr Meachz Mehem Kizayis. That you brought a Kizayis of them Bachotz. What's the halacha? Chayiv. But Rav Elazar comes along and he says, Paiter Achi Yakrav Es Kuloi. So therefore, Kiv under Baktaris Kimitza, Loi Masni Lei. Since Rav Elazar did not teach, excuse me, your microphone flew off. Since Rav Elazar did not teach Klape, the Haktar of the Kimitza, that what? Oikzais the Kimitza Bachotz. Shreim no nami loy masni oikzais becomes a bachos. Therefore, shreim no nami loy masni oikzais. We didn't learn oikzais. So the Gemara is deflecting the raya of Rava that the reason it didn't say oikzais is not like what you Rava said, just parallel to the first part of the Mishnah. Frekti Gemara, wait, Rav Elazar for don't sheets Rav Elazar. Hay lahakter kaim sa lahakter kaim sa olav aynasa mi ba'ile. According to Rav Elazar, you should be burning both. Why? The Tanan is learned in the Mishnah comes out vanish hekriv as echa me'am bachot chayev Rav Elazar paiter. Rav says you're pater shakav shneim, so you should have to bring both of them. Says the Gemara, Lai Netzrecha. The Bryce is needed Ella lekaimetz the minchas chayte. Only for the kemitza the minchas chayte. Says the Gemara, what? V'chatanya la'ashina kaimetz minchas chayte. The Tana went and said there's a whole halacha for this one case of the minchas chayte. Says the Gemara, indeed, in yes, chinki asa Rav Dimi Amar Rav Elazar kaimetz minchas chayte hu Rav Elazar he, and it is shita as Rav Elazar. So therefore, Hadar Amar Rava is chayzer. Says Rava, I retract. La milsi de amri. What I said was wrong. The burning of the kemitza will not create a matzav of meila if the kemitza is chasar. Titanya. We learned in our Raisa Kodesh Kedashim who regarding the Levina with the Lechem Abanim that watch him never saw achas me'am chali yoiseh kulam psulim. That if one of the loaves is broken of the lechem apanim, everything is possible and you have to burn it. Ha yatzas. But if the bread lemaisa the lechem apanim went out to the chatzir, hani diika gavai ksherais. So that which are still inside are kosher. So man shamis lay says the Gemara. Who's going to be his opinion that even though you have a psul yaitse, the Zvika could still help Rabbi Kivi? And yet Rabbi Kiva says that if the loaves broke, it's not possible. So similarly, Rabbi Kiva is going to hold that burning the kemitza is not going to do anything to the shirayim if it is chaser. Amrle Abaye, 1 second. Mikatani hayatzis dilma hanitmis. However, perhaps hanitmis hanachshirais. But if it becomes tame, those are kosher. My time. What's the reason? The meratzah tzitz, because we have the kohen gadol, we have the tzitz that brings kapara when there is toma. Aval yotzas, but maybe if it went outside, lie. Rav Eliezer, and therefore, according to Rav Eliezer, the Amar ein zrika me'el yotze. Zrika is not going to help if it brought outside. And Bedinu says the Gemara. In truth, you're right. You know why? Hakamash Milan, I feel a nifrasa, these say bifnim, lo mahani laktara. Aval Rav Akiva, to Amar, Zika Mayalsa, Yaitse, then I feel chisar nami mahani le haktara, that even if it's chisar, and even if it's lacking, it will help the haktara. We're going to stop over here, pick it up in the Mishnah the next year, as we'll conclude the parak as well, B'siyata Dishmaya.